me to Dr. Sharda Jayagovind, who happens to be his aunt. So we have worked together for last 2 years to bring out this biography. Another two people who had been key in this was Renuka Fadnis. She's sitting here. She assisted Professor Sharda. And another person who assisted in all the logistics and also in publishing this book as becoming a financer is your own Gurmukh Singh. And of course his brother, who's not present here. So with this effort, this book is there. He was, probably Satguru was such a personality that we cannot write any praises for him. Whatever we write, it will be just an iota of his personality. And if whole world starts saying bad things about him, nothing happens to him. He was such a personality, he lived that life. And I just feel that we were fortunate, we were totally blessed to be close to him. What we have experienced, what we have seen is just beautiful. Even Professor Sharda, I used to talk to her that the moments we spent with you discussing about this book, discussing about his life is beautiful for me. So this is the time to release the book, and let me introduce you to Professor Sharda, and I request her to say a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very special moment for me. I would like to start with a Kannada Vachana by Allama Prabhu. I hope many of you understand Kannada. Yettana Mamara, Yettana Kogile, ಎತ್ತಣಿಂದೆತ್ತ ಸಂಬಂಧವಯ್ಯ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ನೆಲ್ಲಿಕಾಯಿ ಸಮುದ್ರದೊಳಗಿನ ಉಪ್ಪು ಎತ್ತಣಿಂದೆತ್ತ ಸಂಬಂಧವಯ್ಯ ಗುಹೇಶ್ವರ ಲಿಂಗ ಎನಗೂ ನಿನಗೂ ಎತ್ತನಿಂದೆತ್ತ ಸಂಬಂಧವಯ್ಯ ಸದ್ಗುರು ಜಗದೀತ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಜಿಗೋ ಎನಗೂ ಎತ್ತನಿಂದೆತ್ತ ಸಂಬಂಧವಯ್ಯ. See, this thought kept coming to me the very first day I met Satguru Jagjit Singh Ji. My nephew Prashant casually told me that we have to meet on a literary project. A very good friend of mine, who is a guru of Namdhari now, and I casually said okay, because writing is a passion. I am not a very famous author. I am a disciple of Shankaracharya, so I have translated his discourses, which have been published in Indian Express and a number of people. And I had a couple of books to my credit. And my line of writing is mainly spiritual. So this poem says that where is the mango tree? And where is the cuckoo? What is the relationship between the two of them? When there is spring, from somewhere the cuckoo flies, comes and sits on the mango tree and makes a melodious song. That line explains me. Where is Sharda from Bengaluru? And where is Satguru Jagjit Singh Ji, the most elevated spiritual master of this century? But there has been a definite relationship. Otherwise, this task would not have been on my list. My limitations as a non-speaker of Punjabi, non-speaker of Hindi, and a Kannadiga belonging to another spiritual arena. But still, the task became mine because he chose me through him. Thank you, sir. poem says, that Vachana says, when there is a thirst, when there is a search for something, there is a force, invisible force, which links two seemingly separate and different identities. But ultimately, it is the one God, one philosophy. And as I sailed through the spiritual journey, see, my inner landscape changed. My attitude, my way of looking at life. There was a definite impact of Patshaji on me. And I'm grateful for it. In this spiritual odyssey, which started in March 2015, I was attracted to the personality of Satguru Jagjit Singh Ji and the Namdhari philosophy. See, Guruji spoke that many of you have seen him. As a biographer, I didn't have that privilege to see him. So I had to build that image within me through many, many minds and eyes which reflected the only image of a Sadguru who could see God right in front of him. I am very, very sure that he had realized God. So he was God in a way. Hence, he could draw a jiva like me towards him. If that involvement was not in him, I had many, many hurdles to cross. He chose me. And like that immense force who got his biography written through me. That's all. It was just a simple tool. The ideology of simplicity, seva, namsmiran, vegetarianism, and the thirst to retain it and give to every child. See, I lived in a way, mentally very, very close to the Namdhari philosophy and ideology. I was amazed when I saw them, even people like Balwant, an international musician, carrying his own pot of water. That strength to retain his identity impressed me a lot. And I thought, every parent has a responsibility. See, we don't choose our religion. But at least we can be good Hindus, good Muslims, good Christians. That is the message which comes through his life. And we as parents have a responsibility to give this to the children. So when I first met Guruji, he showed me a number of books, scholarly, academical writings from universities, professors, etc., etc. And he said, Madam, these books are all good, because I was asking for source. I was struggling hard to understand. Here is a towering personality and I have not met him and I am his biographer. How would I understand him? So started searching for material. Number of books, and he would say, I don't want this book to be like this. He would give me an example and he would say, I don't want this book to be like this. I want a readable book. I want a reachable book. Especially for the younger generation and Namdharis who are scattered all over the world, who need to be rooted to their tradition and philosophy. That concern I again respect in him. So the book started evolving. We just put my pen on the paper, and in this work, sometime in May, Renuka joined. Renuka Fadnis is a senior journalist who worked for Hindu and other Bengaluru and other places. Then Guru was there with me, helping, working out the logistics, arranging the meetings. And more than anyone else, Guruji himself would spend hours together giving us the insight into that wonderful personality. And the two things which again and again kept coming to the mind were seva and namsmiran. 90 years, literally from 1920 to 2012. Here was a person who had made these two qualities his virtues. This ideology had to be captured. The interest in the book has to be retained. the personality has to live through the books, through the book. It was a struggle in the beginning days because I would not know where to put the J-I. In so many names, if I put for which to spell those names, the pronunciation differences. Guru, it will be Gurmukh, it won't be Gurumukh. I would always spell his name wrongly as Gurumukh. And he would smile and forgive me and try to correct me. But today also I think I spelled his name as Gurumukh. So it went on. But still we enjoyed every moment in this book. This book, whenever I needed guidance, Guruji provided that guidance through personalities like Swaran Singh Virukji, the eminent historian, Harpal Singh Sevakji, and number of expatriates. Special meetings were arranged to meet these expatriates who would speak hours together on Satguruji. And where to put an end, what to select, this again became a kind of a challenge for me. Hours of recordings. Taranjit provided his documentaries to me. Slowly and slowly, I knew what to retain, maybe what to be kept for books to come. He's such a rich personality. So the book has a foreword by Swaran Singh Virukji. I thank him. It has a reflections and blessings by Sri Satguru Jagjit Singh Ji, reminiscences by Harpal Singh Sevak, and the book is divided into 8 chapters and a final kind of a postscript, we can call it, on Sri Mata Chand Kaurji. I had the good fortune and blessing of meeting Sri Mata Chand Kaurji. Give you what is inside the book, because I want every person here to read this book and enjoy for yourself, because it's not just enjoyment, it is more than that, in a beautiful way. Most of the time I have tried to capture his thoughts through his words also. Recently a book on his discourses was published. So that was a kind of a good support. So you would like to listen to his words, master's words. That too happens in the book. One aspect which again struck me as I wrote this biography was how we shut ourselves in a small well which we have created for ourselves. As an Indian, I felt ashamed of myself because I didn't know much about Kuka movement at all. None of the history books mention it in detail. But Satguru Ram Singh Ji, the founder of this Namdhari Khalsa, is among the most important. If I can delete that word most, I would like to. He is not one among the most, he is the most important leader in the freedom struggle for the nation. So much so, today you can see with how much of pride they wear this Namdhari attire. How many of us have that kind of sense of pride in us? So he created a religion to bring the freedom to Bharat. And how much of space do we give in our history books to this Kuka movement, to the Namdhari, the contribution of the Namdharis to freedom struggle and to our culture. So I poured over books, whatever books were available, tried to understand, and in that way I feel this is a kind of a paying back to a culture and tradition which has done so much to the rest of India. Actually, that chapter which celebrates the glory of Satguru Jagjit Singh Ji's father, Satguru Pratap Singh Ji, chapter 2, Father and Son, is a very important chapter as far as history is concerned. The way the Gurus helped the people who came running from Pakistan and settled in those regions in Haryana today, there, that is Mastangarh, the making of the Mastangarh and Jeevan Nagar. We interviewed a number of people who had come as refugees and settled there, carrying their painful memories even to this day. But the one word which they kept on repeating is, when Guru is with us, what to fear? Nothing to fear. The Langar took care of our hunger, and the Guru took care of our Atma. This is enough for us. Such interviews are there. The book is based on such interviews. Guruji's Guru, Amar Singh Ji, Amrik Singh Ji, we had the good fortune of meeting him and interviewing him. We met member Harbhajan Singh, who is 107-year-old person who registered the biggest transaction of over 12,000 acres of land. Satguru Pratap Singh Ji, father of Satguru Jagjit Singh Ji, bought villages with the help of the money which people pulled in, etc. Not that he had a great money then, and distributed land to the landless refugees who were running, made their lives for them. So these kinds of insights, the book is based on historical facts. Whenever I tried to add a little bit of masala, Guruji would pull it, and he would say, no, just see if this is on facts. So a number of miracles which are associated with him are outside my mind, but not here. So this has been a wonderful experience, and I thank again the entire Namdhari community and Guruji for trusting me to do this work, and I thank Suresh of Flower Graphics and Srinivas of Flower Graphics, who made this beautiful, designed this beautiful book for us, because if the designer were in Chandigarh, it would have been difficult for us. And as far as possible, we have tried our level best to give you the rare photographs. You have photographs of Guruji as an infant. You have photographs of so many people who you would not, very rare. The first time you have a photograph of Mother Teresa with him, with Satguruji. So a lot of books, and Ujjwal and her husband and Jai Singh of Bhaidi Sahib, all these people have contributed in making this book. They have selected the photograph.